No one there is stopping the bleeding. Not one person put their fingers in Charlie Kirk's neck or their hands. This is
remember when you first came on 2 weeks ago, that's when all my security guys, they're all former special operations.
And so here's one more thing.
Oh, I love Valhalla VFT. He's done great reporting on the topic.
Yes. So he's an ex-Green Beret, and he's shot a lot of people, I guess. And and he also did a stream with a medic who's taking care of a lot of people with gunshots. And they keep pointing out that the people who were taking care of Charlie immediately afterwards, well, first thing you would do is you would take gauze and you would put it over the carotid artery, but they didn't have any blood on them. No blood. Well, let's watch.
Has any blood on their hands at all. And I can tell you, as a guy who's literally treated gunshot wounds in combat myself, this is not a thing. This is probably the most suspicious. Everything I've seen, this drives me the most crazy. As you watch this, guys, we're talking about a gunshot wound to the carotid artery. All of these guys.
And look at this guy in brown right here with the striped shirt.
Big old.
I mean, he's smiling. He's acting like he just opened a Christmas present here.
And I want you to watch it. Okay, we're handing things off, but as we're handing things off, no blood. No one has any blood.
And what are they handing off? They're handing off things. Go ahead.
I'm not super convinced that it's a handoff, at least not that one specifically. There are other handoffs that I think are more for sure. But I'll get into it at the end, because Paramount Tactical did a great response video to this video, and Paramount Tactical is another. I think he's ex-Special Forces. He's definitely ex-military, and he is also he's certified to train specifically gunshot wound care, and he did an awesome response to this that sort of walked you through how it's done, that we can get into after the video. But he slowed down this handoff thing on this specific example, and it made it more clear that maybe like it might really just be him pointing and the other guy kind of trying to help and kind of getting in there flustered and grabbing his hand and realizing he's like, oh no, he's telling me to turn around and go get something from over there. So I'm not sure.
All right, so there's a little bit more to this.
On their hands. So here's what I'm gonna say, Alex. I'm not trying to point fingers or conspiracies, but I want to know, why did nobody try to save his life? No one there is stopping the bleeding. Not one person put their fingers in Charlie Kirk's neck or their hands. This is
remember when you first came on 2 weeks ago, that's when all my security guys, they're all former special operations. They said they don't, the way they run around like they have something planned, but it's nothing they've ever seen. They don't know the hand signs. They're picking things up. And they said that what they see is premeditation, but they don't know what it is. And now this no blood thing and the looks on their faces like they're taking a Sunday walk. This is weird.
So again, I want to make it clear. For most of the viewers out there have not treated a human being that's been shot. Okay. Those of us that have know blood is everywhere, Alex. It is, I don't want to say the F word, everywhere.
Blood is fucking everywhere.
It's fucking everywhere. It'd have been over everybody's hands. It would have been over all of their shirts, pants, especially an artery shot like that. It's not possible that just no one has any blood on even their hands. So to me, what I want to know now is, you know why I was very suspicious about why we're not getting this high fidelity camera footage from right behind Charlie Kirk. And now I want to know, show me that footage. Because that footage is going to show me exactly what you're doing to treating Charlie Kirk.
Bingo.
And I think, again, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. Alex, I think, I've been on your show enough times that you would agree. I'm very level headed with this stuff. Tell me why, turning point, no one treated Charlie Kirk. No one tried to stop the bleeding. You can see it right here. No blood on anyone's hands. Weird things being passed off. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. So I'm not willing to say this is nefarious, but I am willing to say nobody tried to save his life. I'm 100% confident in that. I can watch it right here in front of me. And then the question is why?
Well, I've seen the blown up videos of them when they're taking.
So that's kind of a big, I know you talked about this too, Ian, about how
absolutely
none of those people have blood on them and there's supposed to be blood everywhere. So what do you make of that?
It was such a great point that he brought up, and he was referencing his other friend's channel that is also ex-military. He brought on, like you said, Sticky Green Beret, who was a combat medic. So it's really cool to see the decentralized information space kind of bringing experts around these different problems to solve them and having complex conversations. And I saw this obviously and was like, well, that is an incredible point, and that's extremely suspicious. And then just today, I watched a video by Gary from Paramount Tactical that I wouldn't say debunks this by any means, but it certainly helped to sort of argue the other side of the story from an expert take that does not feel biased in any way. And Gary did not make the claim that like for sure debunk. He just was saying that like basically he, with a dummy that he uses for training bloodshot or gunshot wounds, he showed on a dummy with a blood packet that has a tube that squirts how he would treat the wound, how he would pack it, how much blood he got on his hands when he was doing it. And just basically to show that you wouldn't necessarily expect blood on everybody's hands, but at least on the guy who is treating the wound. And there's only one hand that we didn't see in that video. It's the balding gray hair guy in the middle with the glasses are on all of them. And it's his right hand. That's the only hand we didn't see. So we are to believe that he treated this gunshot wound with only one hand. And then the point of it being an artery is also very relevant, that arteries spurt blood all over the place. So the only way that the artery is not spurting blood all over the place is if the heart is not beating, which is possible with the amount of damage done to Charlie's spine, apparently, based upon his posturing as he falls over. It's called decorticate posture, where he kind of turns his hands inwards and sort of freezes up. That does indicate such significant trauma to the spine and brain, not by my understanding, but by experts that are analyzing this, that could stop the heart and maybe have blood not spurting out of the artery. But you're starting to get a lot of conditions that are all sort of like a little bit of a stretch that all have to come together for this footage to show no blood on anyone's hands except maybe one hand. Kind of weird. So people have diverted into two theories around this. And one is this, like, the conspiracy that it's all faked. Charlie's not dead. It's all staged. The whole world's a stage. Nothing's even real. It's like, yeah, I'm not buying that at all. But I'm listening to them, but I'm not buying it. Or at least I'm not, assigning any certainty to that at all. But then the other more sort of like, obvious question here is, did they attempt to treat the wound at all? And I think that, I'm going to watch the experts, these military guys, debate this more over the next week as they go back and forth in videos. But I think that we have some pretty serious questions about that security team, which my understanding is that Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk had actually bought that security company a couple of years ago, and that security company has a lot of ties to a certain foreign nation. I'm not making any specific accusations about them. I don't know what the story is there. But I think that we're onto something when we ask about that footage from behind, because it seems a little suspicious.
Well, it's just amazing that they're not releasing the autopsy. We know they had to have done an autopsy because an autopsy is required by law. So I'm sure they would do that. But why not release it then? Why? What? In some
and it would clearly put an end to all the conspiracy theories. It would solve everything. It would. And I mean, the problem is that at this point, they botched the case so bad that if they released the autopsy today, half the internet wouldn't believe it was real. And I'm not sure that I would either, because A, we've seen autopsies tampered with many times in the past. We've seen coroners and medical examiners be corrupted intentionally for this exact purpose many times in the past.
Yes.
Right? It's like one of the first things that comes up in all of these kind of, like JFK, the autopsy and the medical examiner was a key part of the initial cover-up that was like, without that piece, everyone in America would have known right away about what was wrong with it. But as it was, they were able to kind of cover some of that up and keep it kind of in the realm of conspiracy until the Zapruder film came out.
And so another thing that is also super suspicious about this autopsy, the whole thing, is that they didn't take Charlie to the closest hospital with a trauma center. They took him to like a regional hospital that didn't have a trauma center, and the CEO of that hospital was a new appointee, and the head of surgery, correct me if I'm wrong, was also brand. So you got a brand new judge overseeing this case. You got brand new FBI, because Kash Patel fired the head of the FBI in Utah. So everybody's brand new, and they didn't take him to the closest hospital, the trauma center. They take him to this other place with a brand new CEO and a brand new head of surgery, and we never get to see the autopsy.
Yep. And then so that's a little weird. There could be an innocent explanation, but it's still a little weird. But then, I mean, first off, this event is of the size where you are required to have an ambulance and medical team on site at the event. And so where was that? I can't help but feel like if there's a conspiracy going on here, which it looks like there is, then you would purposefully not have the ambulance there so you can control the body. Because the most important thing you have to do after an assassination like this is you have to control the body to cover up any evidence that you don't want to come out, like maybe a magic bullet or maybe 2 entry and exit wounds or whatever it is. I don't know. And I'm talking about kind of JFK stuff there, not about Kirk. But because they put him in a private car, they were able to take him to whatever hospital they chose. And then Charlie Kirk's body was turned over to J.D. Vance, which was very strange, and flown on Air Force 2. Like that's really weird. It's just kind of weird, right? Like J.D. Vance is the new scion of Peter Thiel. He's got all these weird questions about him. And I'm not saying that J.D. Vance is like some evil supervillain that was like, intentionally helped assassinate Charlie Kirk. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying it's a little weird. All these strange protocols that seem to not be followed that wound up with this extremely unlikely sequence of events that just obscures everything.
Now, October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. We'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.